Good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees on March 11, 2025. The time is 6 p.m. Due to me feeling a bit ill, I'm going to ask Vice President Carrillo to lead tonight's meeting.
Thank you, President Singh. And with that, we move on to attendance. Please let the record reflect that all board members are present. Our next item is adoption of the agenda. What are the wishes of the board on this item?
So moved.
I have a motion by Trustee Kerfan. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Trustee Chavez. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We move on to comments from the public. At this time, if there is any member of the public, either in person or watching us remotely, who wishes to address the board on any of the closed session items, the number to call is 559-276-3150. We will allow 30 seconds to pass before we adjourn into closed session. Once again, the number to call to provide any public comment on closed session items is 559-276-3150.
Board Vice President, 30 seconds have passed and there's no callers at this time.
Thank you. Hearing no comments from the public on the closed session item, the board will now adjourn to closed session. Thank you. It is now 7 p.m., and the board will reconvene to open session. Items to report from our closed session. Certificated personnel report by a motion by President Singh, a second by Trustee Sidhu, and motion carried unanimously. Classified personnel report, we had a motion by President Singh and a second by Trustee Chavez, also motion carried unanimously. The board also took action by unanimous vote to reassign a vice principal to a classroom teaching position for the 25-26 school year. The vote was conducted via roll call. And there is no further action to report from closed session. With that, before President Singh is present and attending our meeting, but he is not feeling well, so he has delegated the responsibility to me to conduct the meeting. So he is here. I know you guys see him, just so you all know what's happening. We now move to the Pledge of Allegiance. If I can have everyone please stand. Thank you. We move on to our community engagement information. We will first hear from Mr. Lazo and then from Ms. Sikjon. Go ahead. Sekon, thank you.
Good evening. If you wish to address the board, please call 559-276-3150 or fill out a request form provided on the table near the entrance and submit it to the clerk of the board prior to the meeting. If you wish to speak on an item on the agenda, please do so when that item is called. If you wish to speak on an item not on the agenda, you may speak during the public comment section of the agenda. Si desea dirigirse a la mesa directiva, llame al número 559-276-3150 o complete un formulario de solicitud provisto en la mesa cerca de la entrada y preséntelo al secretario de la mesa directiva antes de la reunión. Se permitirán comentarios públicos relacionados con los temas de la agenda cuando se llame el tema. Los comentarios públicos sobre un tema que no está en la agenda se permitirán durante la sección de comentarios públicos de la agenda. The district welcomes other language speakers to the board meetings. Anyone planning to attend and needing an interpreter for a language other than Spanish should call 559-274-4700, extension 10150, by noon on the Friday preceding the board meeting or at least 48 hours in advance of the meeting, so arrangements can be made for an interpreter. El distrito da la bienvenida a las personas que hablan otros idiomas a las reuniones de la mesa directiva. Cualquier persona que planifique asistir y necesite un intérprete para un idioma que no sea español, llame al 559-274-4700, extensión 10150, el viernes antes de la reunión y antes del mediodía, o por lo menos 48 horas antes de la reunión para poder hacer los arreglos para la interpretación. Thank you.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੋਰਡ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਬੋਧਿਤ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ 559-276-3150 'ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਜਾਂ ਐਂਟਰੀ ਦਰਵਾਜ਼ੇ ਦੇ ਨੇੜੇ ਟੇਬਲ 'ਤੇ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਗਏ ਇੱਕ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਫਾਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਭਰੋ ਅਤੇ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੇ ਕਲਰਕ ਕੋਲ ਜਮ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰੋ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ 'ਤੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ ਦੀ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜੇਕਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ 'ਤੇ ਬੋਲਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਏਜੰਡੇ ਦੇ ਜਨਤਕ ਟਿੱਪਣੀ ਸੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਅਜਿਹਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਾਡਾ ਜ਼ਿਲ੍ਹਾ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੀਆਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਰ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਬੋਲਣ ਵਾਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ। ਜੇਕਰ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹੋਣ ਦੀ ਯੋਜਨਾ ਬਣਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਅਤੇ ਸਪੈਨਿਸ਼ ਜਾਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਤੋਂ ਇਲਾਵਾ ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ ਭਾਸ਼ਾ ਲਈ ਟਰਾਂਸਲੇਟਰ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਬੋਰਡ ਦੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ੁੱਕਰਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੁਪਹਿਰ ਤੱਕ ਜਾਂ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ 48 ਘੰਟੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 559-274-4700 ਐਕਸਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ 10150 'ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਤਾਂ ਜੋ ਇੱਕ ਟਰਾਂਸਲੇਟਰ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ। ਧੰਨਵਾਦ।
Thank you both. We move on to our presentations. First, we will hear from our school activities presentation. We have Central High School student Manat Daliwa.
Good evening, Board of Trustees. My name is Manat Daliwa, and I'm the Associated Student Body President at Central High School. It is my honor to be here today to share an update on the progress and recent activities occurring at our school. To start, I would like to give a shout out to Mrs. Lind, our college and career counselor, for organizing a field trip to UC Santa Cruz and Stanford for our students. This event was well planned and an impactful experience for our students as they got the opportunity to get a first-hand look at top-tier universities. Another achievement comes from our Ag department, as a congratulations goes to Yesenia and the plant science students for their hard work on our school farm. Thanks to their dedication, we are providing mandarins to schools in Central Unified. Not only did these students get hands-on experiences, but they contributed to our community in a significant way. We also want to congratulate the Ag department for their new goat barn, which promotes learning and increases the capacity to raise excellent goats for breeding. I'm happy to report that 2 of our students have been selected to join the Future Nurses program at Fresno City College. A huge congratulations to Simrith Kaur and Isabel Zedente. We are proud of them and their teacher, Mr. Stephen Holdridge, for this incredible accomplishment. We know these students will continue to thrive while taking important steps into their future. We are looking forward to our Chicken Week taking place April 7th to 11th with our combined themes of chicken fried minions. Freshmen are represented by KFC Evil Minions, sophomores are represented by Popeye's Caveman Minions, juniors will be Raising Cane's Super Minions, and seniors will be represented by Chick-fil-A Regular Minions. We are preparing for this event and hope that our rally on April 11th will bring energy and fun to our school. Central High School is excited to be building band and athletic programs. In coordination with the administration, our new athletic director is in the process of hiring top-notch coaches, ordering uniforms and equipment, and getting our facilities ready. We are excited to build upon the tradition, history, and legacy of Central High School in these areas. Central High School is eager to implement new initiatives that will continue to enhance the success of our school. Thank you so much for listening and have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you, Ms. Dhaliwal. We'll now hear from Persian Continuation and Pathway Community School, Yaritzel Flores.
Good evening, Boards of Trustees and Superintendent Davis. I'm Yaritzel Flores, and I am the FFA and Student Body President of Persian High School. I want to start off by mentioning that Persian High School now has 90 graduates this year so far. Recently, our FFA program was donated 10 jackets to students that are extremely involved in FFA that don't have jackets of their own, each having their own name stitched on. That was donated by Councilor Member Maxwell and the Foundation of Central Schools, where we were also recognized in Fresno City Hall. Our Ag Bio class are currently raising rainbow trouts for the first time that they will be releasing into Chevrolet Lake. 7 of our students have been picked for our annual FFA State Conference. Recently, we have wrapped up a lot of our programs, starting off with Mount Olympus, where Persian students had an amazing chance to make a presentation project about an issue that they would like to change in the neighborhood or around the world. We have 3 students that placed in the top 3. The first place was Stevie Marie Rendon, the second place was Murphy Miller, and third was Sakura Raminda. We have recently finished our veterans program with students having a great opportunity to listen to veterans' experience firsthand. Our academic decathlon has now finished that was coached by our amazing coach, Mr. Fuentes, where we did an amazing job this year, which we believe that you guys will be blown away. Lastly, I want to conclude by mentioning our city college class, which I am currently taking. I chose this class to help me develop strong habits and essential life skills. It provides valuable lessons and skills needed for success, both life and college. Mr. Pulliam holds us to a college standard which helps us prepare for future challenges and opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Flores. We now move on to student recognition, and I'll turn it over to Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Boatwright.
Thank you so much. So on February 1st, we had several of our high school teams compete at the Academic Decathlon, which emphasizes academic excellence across a wide range of subjects. The teams are here tonight to be recognized for their accomplishments. So I'm going to start off with Pershing High School. So this team, they placed first place in their division, and their overall number of team medals was 52. Each student also received a medal for coming in first place in their division. They are led by coaches Trinidad Fuentes and Florence Guzman. And our team members for the academic decathlon are Alex Clausen, Maria Delgado, Yuritzel Flores, Brenda Gutierrez, Daniela Lopez, Christopher Ramirez, Stevie Rendon, and Kalia Vu. Let's give them a round of applause. The next team that we'd like to recognize tonight is Central High School. They placed second in their division with an overall number of team medals of 35. So students here tonight to be recognized are Genesis Acosta, Ajmeet Brar, Emiliano Carrillo, Ashley Garcia, Harshita Kaship, Ashley Sanchez, Shubhjeet Singh, and Tia Tia. Let's give those students a round of applause. And the next team to recognize tonight is from Central East High School. Oh, and I forgot to mention the Central High School coach is Maria Beltran. I didn't want to leave her out. So for Central East High School, they're led by Coach Clayton Iha. They placed third place in their division. And the students that we'd like to recognize from that team are Ariana Castro, Tessa Davis, Alejandra Orozco, Gerline Kaur, Xavier Perez, Adonis Richardson, and Alyssa Zepeda. So let's also give them a round of applause.
All right, everybody, if you can look this way on 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thank you. Congratulations.
Let's give our students, coaches, and their families another round of applause. Congratulations. We move on to our Employee Association highlights. We first invite CUDA President Laura Bolton.
All right. Thank you for having me. You've probably noticed that we have a big turnout outside. It's one of the differences between having our board meetings here and at the PAC. There's not as much room in here. So there are a lot of people out there. And we're taking attendance with QR codes so I can get an accurate count. but I can tell there's quite a bit of response to our call to action and support for our bargaining team. I do want to show you that you may see these around campuses, in car windshields and in classroom windows facing out, showing that our members are supporting the bargaining team. So they just say Central students deserve the best learning supports, and Central educators stand with the bargaining team. So you'll see there's a lot of support for the things that we're trying to do in bargaining. I do want to begin, like I always do, with positives. So there were quite a few that were shared with me at our last site rep council. Teague Elementary has many exciting things to share. They hosted their annual mother-son and father-daughter dances the last 2 Fridays. Our board member, Mr. Jaspreet Sidhu, was in attendance for our father-daughter dance, and they were really appreciative of that. Teague Elementary also hosted a career fair on February 20th, where students were able to learn about various careers. Attendees were board member Mr. Joshua Sellers and Fresno, who is, and the Fresno Fire Department, Fresno PD, the Pamoas Pet Hospital staff. That's the little pet hospital that's very near Teague, just around the corner from here. Council member Annalisa Perea and U.S. Postal Service. Last but definitely not least, our student Natasha Callejas won the district spelling bee. So this is the first time a Teague student has won. Natasha is a 5th grade redesignated EL student. HK, they're trying live school at their school. So students are randomly grouped into 5 different homes, and they'll have all different grade levels in one home. The homes are competing to see which house can get the most points after a set period of time. And in high school, Central High School, the Ag Department organized FFA Week, and all the preparations that went into the Ag Barn ribbon cutting recently. And CHS would like to thank the Board of Trustees and Central Unified for their belief and investment in the program. The barn is awesome, and there will be a lot of additional ag opportunities because of that investment. Also, Donkey Basketball brought in about 600 people to watch and be a part of the event recently on a previous Friday. An amazing community event. It's an amazing community event. Also, the class of 22 plant science students and orchard students helped harvest over 3,000 pounds of fruit. We're now selling our produce to the district to go to student lunches throughout the district. FCCLA is moving on to the state competition for Central High School, and the education pathway has been granted the ability to complete an internship in the district over spring breaks school session. They will be working with Glacier Point and Harvest. If all goes well, they are looking forward to working during the summer session also. Garza started Readers Are Leaders, where athletes visit elementary schools to read to classes. This is a program that's been in effect for quite some time for East, but for Garza, it just finally got launched, so they're really proud of being able to join with that. It's also Youth Art Month, and there's a fantastic display of student art showcased around the campus. Band and choir are also doing special performances for Youth Art Month at Garza. At East, apologies, I'm using more than one platform here. They wanted me to share about their wrestling accomplishments. So congratulations to the 10 Central East CIF state wrestling qualifiers. So giving you some information, hold on, sorry, I clicked something. Go back. Cancel. Can't read it. Oh, technology. It's not my friend right now. Okay. Sorry. Let me see if I can make it go away and reopen it. There we go. Okay, there it is. Okay, so give you some background. Cairo Placencia attended Roosevelt Elementary and began wrestling there. Kenny Gonzalez attended Roosevelt Elementary. David Rapp Jr., McKinley Elementary. Jacob Ruacho, Teague Elementary. I remember Jacob. Olivia Ruacho, Teague Elementary. Michaela James, Teague Elementary. Anthony Vargas, Hernan Barstow. Louis Trujillo, Central Elementary. Anthony Castillo, Soroyan Elementary. And Megan Morales, Team G. So they've done very, very well. And then we also have 4 state placers. So for the state championship on the boys team, Anthony Vargas placed fifth in the state, Megan Morales 6th place, Michaela James 4th place, and Olivia Ruacho 3rd place in the state. So it's awesome. Yeah. And then finally, also at East, the EL program, the AELD classes started Kinder Buddies, which is a program that is being collaborated between the teachers and teacher librarian Christine Flores. They choose books and they zoom into classes and they read to kindergarten students. So it's another amazing way we're leveraging technology to build those relationships and help kids to practice their reading skills. So that's what I have in terms of positives. And I do just want to add that we are at the bargaining table tomorrow. And I have been spreading the word about the things that we're hoping to achieve. And the concerns that we have with especially the health insurance proposal. Through some communication that I've had with the district today, we may have figured out that there might have been a mistake on the district part. But as it stands, the proposal the way it's written would be a significant increase and a significant hardship to our employees, all of our employees. So this includes all of our certificated, all of our classified. It affects our administration and retirees. We have a gap insurance that you may not be aware of, that if our certificated staff reach 20 years in the district and 58 years of age, they are eligible to retire with the current benefits that they receive now for the current costs that they pay, the same cost as the current active employees, which is affordable, very affordable right now. But as it stands, the proposal from the district would not be affordable and would possibly price some families out in that retiree group and our certificate and our classified group. There's some serious concerns about that. So I'm going to wrap it up and thank you once again for allowing me the time to speak, and see you at the bargaining table tomorrow.
Next, we invite the CSCA President, Angie Aguirre.
Good evening, board members and Superintendent Davis. First off, I want to give a shout out to 2 of our job descriptions. Thank you to Tomas for sending his irrigation specialist to our training last week, sponsored by Ewing. The guys told me they had a really good time and they learned a lot, so they're really excited that they got some new training. Also, a shout out to our bus drivers. They attended the Rodeo Champions. Let's see, we are proud to celebrate the incredible achievements of our rodeo team at the local Chapter 8 school bus rodeo hosted at Clovis East the weekend of March 1st. Transit team winners were first place was Ricky Woods, Julio Medino, Brian Rodriguez. First place individual, Brian Rodriguez. Second place individual, Ricky Woods. The special needs team winners were first place Don Rivera, Carrie Linder, and Dominique Medina. Second place individual was Carrie Linder. Third place individual was Dominique Medina. Top score overall, Brian Rodriguez. Their hard work, dedication, and skills have made us proud. Thank you for representing Central with your excellence. A shout out to all the good bus drivers that went out there. Thank you.
Thank you, President Aguirre. We move on to our school reports. We will first hear from our principal from Houghton Kearney Elementary School, Courtney Gendry. Gendron. Sorry about that. You should be able to use the remote and just click forward.
There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Good evening, President Singh, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Davis. My name is Courtney Gendron, and I am the proud principal of Houghton Kearney. I am here this evening to share with you our 24-25 school year school report. Thank you for the opportunity to share our progress, achievements, and areas of focus. First, we'll take a look at academics and student learning, beginning with some celebrations. From the beginning of the year, we have made great progress in math, making 14% growth as shown on the mid-year iReady that our students took in December. Of the students who took this benchmark, nearly a third of them have already achieved their annual typical growth for the year, which is really great. The growth in ELA was not as significant and is definitely an area of focus for us, but we are gaining momentum with our students demonstrating over 40% of them meeting their typical annual growth for the year already as of December when we took the benchmark. One of the several ways we are addressing needs in all content areas is the development of our PLC teams. Through our work with Solution Tree, we've been working hard to align our content areas across grade levels. This has allowed us to collaborate around data and determine targeted support for students and next steps for instruction within the classrooms. Another area in which we have grown is with the utilization of our academic counselor. 5th through 8th grade students are met with regularly to goal set and monitor academic progress. We have an academic lab that occurs daily during lunch times for students to attend and receive individual support on classwork or content review. This has helped staff, students, and families build a strong partnership around academic success with the communications that are happening with that staff member and our teams. Student engagement. Engagement is our next area that we'll be visiting. Student engagement is imperative for our students' success. I'm happy to say we've made significant growth in this area. At Houghton Kearney, our staff has worked extremely hard to create an engaging, fun, and safe learning environment, both inside and outside of the classrooms. As seen on this slide, there are many different ways we're creating different opportunities for our students to actively participate in a variety of experiences around the campus. Students are regularly asking when the next activity or event or fun thing is going to be happening around campus, so that's always fun to see their excitement on their faces. In addition to the positive trend in attendance rate, our suspension rate has decreased by about 2% for this school year so far, and the total number of suspensions has been cut in half from this time last school year, which is really huge. These gains are a direct result of our intentional efforts in this area, including professional learning in classroom culture and culturally affirming practices by all of our staff, as well as the implementation of the school-wide activities that you see on the slide. Attendance also plays an important role in student success. Students who are not at school are not accessing the content and receiving the instruction from our teachers and receiving the other supports that we provide on campus. Students who are engaged in their learning and in their school are more likely to attend and therefore have higher academic achievement. To help support attendance of our students, staff partner together for family outreach. It really is a team effort that we've just gotten together as a team and really made that a focus to help support. This includes efforts made by our teachers, reaching out to families, meeting with students and having conversations about attendance with them, administration, our counselors checking in with students, and also the utilization of our family outreach liaison. Students who are absent more than one day during the week, our family outreach liaison actually will call those families and just to check in. These phone calls help determine what next steps that we can help support the family and the student. Sometimes it could be as simple as just checking in if they were ill for the week, checking in to see how they're doing and wishing them well, and we hope to see them soon. Other times it might be that, a family is encountering transportation issues, and, we're able to have that opportunity to see what we can do to help provide support in that area. And then we do, encounter also other opportunities to provide families with resources that they might need. We hold attendance conferences regularly, really to check in and see if there's any specific supports that we're able to provide them in that area. We send home informational flyers regarding the importance of attendance in school, and regular informal checks with students and families regarding attendance, and just making sure that we stay connected with them and keep those conversations going. Our student field trips, every student on our campus has an opportunity to participate in learning opportunities and experiences in the form of field trips. This looks a little bit different depending on the grade level. There are a variety of different opportunities that our students may engage in. These experiences allow students to directly engage in hands-on learning, making content accessible in multiple different ways for our students. Our kiddos love these experiences. They're always looking forward to them, whether they be on-campus field trips or off-campus field trips. Whether it be college and career, science, or history, these are opportunities that really help learning come alive for our students and really keep them engaged in that learning and wanting to learn more. Accountability and continuous improvement is at the forefront of what we do. We're always striving to learn new things and be our best for our students and our families and our community. In the way that we do this, we go through professional learning as a staff. Topics are spiraled throughout the year or even through multiple years. We definitely want to make sure that we, keep fresh on things and, make sure that it's not a one and done and that we keep visiting to be able to meet the needs of our students that we have every year. There are always new things to learn and new resources that come available to support students, and their needs are always changing. And so, we want to make sure that we are learning and changing with them so that we can meet their needs. As mentioned earlier, the PLC work is a huge part of that continuous improvement cycle. Teachers are focusing on essentials. They're collaborating. They're gathering data based on assessments and focusing on those common formative assessments that they determine as a team. And they have that conversation and dialogue to determine next steps for student learning. Where are those gaps? What worked for me? What can we do to help support in the classroom? Because maybe something didn't work out the way that I thought. And really just, addressing the needs of the individual students in the classroom to make sure that they are meeting those on-grade level standards. To support classrooms, we have intentionally scheduled time during the school day for classroom visits, providing opportunities for reflective dialogue and around curriculum and instructional practices. This approach ensures that we are responding to the diverse learning needs of our kids and supporting a culture of that continuous reflection and professional growth for all of us that work with our kids. In Central, we are always finding ways to make it count for our kids. At Houghton Kearney, our goal is to continue to build an inclusive and positive school culture where students want to be. They want to be there, they enjoy being there, they want to stay there longer and engage in anything that we have for them. We have recently rolled out the implementation of Live School. Our vice principal, PBIS team, and support staff were an integral part in getting this rolling right at the beginning of the semester. Got that jump started when we returned in January, and it is now rolling really smoothly. The students and staff are engaging in work around this. Live School allows us to gather data and track positive behaviors and celebrate achievements of our students. It really gives us some really nice data that we can look at to highlight certain areas and then work as teams to be able to address other areas that we might need to focus on. We enhance the learning environment by creating activities that create a sense of belonging, encouraging students to take pride in their school community, and creating leadership opportunities for them. And our efforts have resulted in a gold PBIS recognition for this past school year, and we look forward to continuing in that work. This year, Houghton Kearney is going around the world in 180 days. This past week, we just had Read Across America Week, and we had Around the World edition. So instead of visiting around America, we visited around the world, and we had different students that read books, and they were shared with other classrooms, and they were able to play those, and so it was really great to see voices from our community. Throughout this school year, we've been visiting different continents, learning about them, and participating in activities that highlight cultural facts, just to gain a deeper understanding of the different cultures that are around the world. It really allows kids and our students and our staff alike to kind of step outside of what's comfortable and really create a broader understanding of the world around them that they might not typically be exposed to. So that's really great. That is all I have for this evening. Thank you again for allowing me the time to share with you all things Houghton Kearney. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing no questions, I have just one quick question. You mentioned, I think in the first or second slide, a decrease in your suspension rate, which is great because it's a small school, and so any one suspension has a significant impact statistically and obviously to our students. Anything in particular that has worked as far as decreasing those suspensions that you'd like to share?
So we have our Thinkery up and running as of the very first day of this school year, which previously it took us a little bit of more time to get that going, and then partnering with our counseling staff, our school psychologist. We have an amazing Thinkery staff that works in there and really going that proactive, preventative approach. So when we see those little things that start to come up, we're able to intervene prior to having a bigger incident or issue on the school site.
That's awesome. Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much.
We next will hear from our principal from Central Online Homeschool, Ms. Bolger. Bolger.
It's okay.
Sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
Bolger.
All right, so I just hit play?
Yes.
All right, there we go. All right, hello, good evening, President Singh, board member, Superintendent Davis. I'm Colette Bolger, and I am the principal of Central Online Homeschool. I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share the exciting progress and opportunities that are happening at Central Online Homeschool, and we are thrilled to present some of the highlights from this school year, the 2024-25 school year, and our plans for continuous improvement. And with that, I just want to share with you, our students and staff have worked incredibly hard, and we are impressed with the academic achievements that we have up here to celebrate. We have made great growth in our iReady scores in our K-8. We saw 9% growth in math and 6% in reading. And we have had an increase in dual enrollment expansion. We've increased the participation from 4 in the fall to 9 students in the spring. And it's giving students a head start for college and career readiness and coursework. Also, just to let you know, this summer we have 13 students already signed up for dual enrollment and 15 signed up for the fall. So we're moving forward in that direction. We are continuing to see assessment scores rise, and you can see that up on the PowerPoint there. And then our graduation rate, it is increasing as we have each year gone through from the start from 81% in 2023 to we're hoping to we have on track right now progress to be at 93% graduation rate for 2025. So we're happy about that. So these results show that our instructional strategies and student supports are making a real difference. With our student engagement, let me go back 1 second here. For our focus support strategies, we are focusing in on our PLC homeroom Tier 1 approach, and that is for math instruction. Based on our SBAC scores and so on, we see that as a huge need in supporting our students in math instruction. And so we're doing that by using the IAB assessments and the FIAB and focusing in on the priority standards during homeroom meetings. We also are providing tutoring interventions, and we've expanded the academic opportunity for those students by bringing on tutors to meet with our students and to help support them in the MyPath program that we're utilizing. It is also, we adjusted our schedule. We noticed that students were in need of more support in connecting, and so what we did is we opened up our check-in meetings, instead of it being 15 to 20 minutes to 30 minutes weekly with every student. And there our students, our staff is meeting with students to meet with, talk about their progress monitoring, doing goal setting, and being able to really just connect with the students, which really is so helpful for students who are on independent study because they don't have a lot of connections. So that's one of the pieces that we're doing. So we're committed to maintaining this momentum and ensuring that every student has the resources needed to succeed. Moving on to engagement. Engagement is key to student success, and we're proud of the ways we are keeping students connected. Attendance does matter, and so Central COHS has achieved an impressive 96.7 perfect attendance rate for the fall of 2024, which that's our local measure. Which in comparison, if we look at the next bullet there, addressing our chronic absenteeism, is it has risen to 19.3, and there's a reason for that, is that we're finding that when new students are transferring in, we are inherently acquiring their attendance rate, which is right normal for students who are coming to us, as they might be coming to us for attendance issues. And so that is rightly so. So what we're doing is we're helping our students who do have those attendance concerns, and through our intervention counselor, through our CYS counselor, and they are helping address any type of anxiety or issues that the students might be experiencing and getting them connected back into school. So we're doing that there. And then also we have our outreach, and you can see all the pictures there of all the different outreach activities that we have been a part of. And we have new clubs and a class. We have a photography class that happens every Friday, and we have a good group of students coming. They have their own 35 millimeter camera. They're taking pictures, they're bringing them back, they're getting lessons about how to utilize a camera and getting really excited about photography. Along with, we have a croquet club and also a leadership club, and our leadership students are mentoring our littles because we are a K-12 school, and so our older students are really mentoring our littles with our first STEM activity event that's coming up on the 21st of March, and they are running the STEM activities for our little owls. In addition to that, like I had mentioned previously, our students are receiving counseling services, and we see that the need for our students who might be at Central Online School for a variety of reasons, we want to support them and not let them know that they're alone, that they do have support. And next. Making it count for our students. One of the things that we know is that students need to be engaged, and we believe that every moment of learning counts, and so we're dedicated to providing high quality instruction and support. We are doing this by piloting a program of iPads for our 11th and 12th graders and our younger students. And what we're doing is we want to create students have students who are creators and not consumers of technology, and meaning that they're participating and being engaged with the learning of the use of the iPad, inquiry, working with our staff in professional development to use what's called the strategy of inquiry model, and having the students go and explore, create, and then present, and collaborate together. We also are expanding our ELD program. We are piloting an online ELD curriculum, which we are seeing some positive changes, but even better than that is we're providing online support, not online, in-person support for a boot camp for our ELD students to come in, and they've been coming in daily for the last 4 weeks to get ready for the LPAC exam. And in our special ed department, what we are doing is we're supporting the conversations for our students who are on the diploma track and getting more and more of our students having access and resources on that non-A through G pathway. And then these initiatives reflect our ongoing commitment to student success and school-wide excellence. And as far as accountability and continuous improvement, we're doing that with our PLCs, like I had mentioned, our homeroom support. Oh, I guess I should go forward there. Our homeroom support and focusing in on those priority math standards. And we have been working with our district math coach, and he's been coming in and working with the staff because my staff is in providing support in teaching those higher level Math 1, Math 2 priority standards for teachers who don't have a math credential. However, what we're also doing is we've just brought on a long-term sub to provide math support who is also going to school to become a math teacher. She's a student teacher, and so she's coming in to provide support to our students in the Edgenuity courses. So we're finding if there's that's what I try to do. I try to solve problems. And so if I see a situation that needs a solution, that's what we're doing there. And I talked about the 30-minute one-on-one check-ins. And then also we do provide tutoring with teaching fellows. And we have one in the morning and one in the afternoon that works with our students who might be struggling in their classes if they're outside of their the time with their academic advisor. So we're building a strong foundation in math, and our teachers and staff are continuously learning for themselves how to bring out the best for our students. And moving on to making it count for kids. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a fanatic when it comes to the 7 habits of highly effective people. And so I bring that with me everywhere I go. And one of the pieces that I've done is brought it to my staff. And they've just recently been through the training, so they too can utilize the leadership principles. We're teaching it to our students, and we're empowering our teens through The Leader in Me, through the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, the book by Sean Covey. And we want to inspire leadership within our students so they own their learning. In addition to that, we want to inspire the leadership of having the students who will I want to get to the point where they're leading the homerooms. They have jobs to do. They're participating and leading their own learning. And so by instilling these leadership principles, we're preparing our students for lifelong success. And as you can see, the 2024-25 school year has been filled with growth, innovation, and student success. We're committed to our continuing efforts in academics, excellence, student engagement, and leadership development. At this time, that concludes my presentation. I thank you for your time and continued support. And we're proud of what we're accomplishing, and we look forward to another great, successful future. At this time, I will take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, thank you so much for the great work that you're doing. We appreciate it. Okay. We move on to superintendent and board communications. We'll begin with our superintendent, Superintendent Davis.
Thank you. We're going to be busy this spring at meetings. As you know, you saw our academic decathlon tonight. Anytime once their season is finished or their academic competition is finished to its final level, then we, of course, bring them to you to celebrate. So mock trial is a good example. We planned that in the next meeting, and they just got a bid to go to state. And so we'll wait for their accomplishments and then bring those forward. Spelling bees coming up, etc. Parent conferences are happening this month. This week, our secondary middle schools are in conferences, and March 24th to 28th, our elementary schools will have their spring parent conferences. And so you'll see buses middle of the day, maybe at a different time than you typically see on a non-Wednesday, so that the teachers can be available to meet with families. Provided for you this evening is also a schedule for open houses. To make you aware, they do begin as early as March 19th for Madison Elementary and go all the way until May 28th, a couple of our schools. And so wanted you to have those available and invite you to attend any of those if you would like to. And also provided for you a few of the flyers that Dr. Boatwright's team has put together, kind of an in-between of updates on the ethnic studies work, some of the documents that are going to be provided for counselors, and some of the frequently asked questions. Wanted to make sure you had that as well. And then we just received word, and I want to congratulate our young author winners. Central High School student Forrest Heavenly Davila won top selection in exemplary poem category for an entry titled The Shift. So thank you to teacher librarian Ramona Cheek and Principal Holterman for that one. The student, but also to them for supporting the students to do these things. Central East High School student Finch Damien won top selection in exemplary narrative 712 category for their entry People Like Us. So great job to them, and thank you to teacher Melinda Scott Ellswick and Principal Edmonds for that. And then lastly, Central Elementary student Danielle Moses has won the top selection in the exemplary fiction category for their entry titled Puppy Love. So congratulations to the student, and also to Ms. Jimenez and Principal Lisbon Slack for doing those. Lastly, thank you to everyone who was able to read last week at Read Across America. Thank you so much for participating, and also a shout out to the teachers and staff that put together the event so we can all just show up and read to classes. It's always very enjoyable, and I hope you had fun doing that. That is all for me.
Thank you. Board members wishing to speak, Trustee Kerfan.
Thank you, President Carrillo. Since the last board meeting, I had the pleasure of participating in Read Across America at Tilly Elementary at various grades. You know, the kids were very well behaved, and loved being able to share the love of reading with them. It's my favorite week, Read Across America. And then I also was with us at the ribbon cutting at Central High for our new Ag Barn. As people on campus know, in the last few years, we've really pivoted away from chickens to goats because of the bird flu pandemic, and we need more space. It's a great facility. It's very clean, and is going to give our students and our animals on campus more space to enjoy and learn about the Central Valley's #1 economy. So and also a Ramadan Mubarak to our Muslim families, and Happy Lent to our Catholic families. It's a very holy month. Thank you.
Trustee Sadhu?
Yes. So a couple of things. First, I did participate at T Elementary with the father-daughter dance. It was such a great experience seeing all the daughters have a good time and twinning with their dads. That was fun. The other event that I attended was Biola. We unveiled a mural there. The mural was The Hands That Build the Valley. So I just wanted to make sure that I visited the Biola side of our community, and I do have deep ties to Biola. My dad worked there as a laborer for 10 years, so I love that community. Always love going there. And then the final, I just wanted to give a shout out. He already left, but I would like to give a shout out to Mr. Colin Parker. He's an ag teacher at Pershing. Me and Colin were both a class of 2015 at Central West, so I just wanted to recognize that. It's always nice to see people from my class coming back and giving back to Central, and I'm glad he's back, and he's a great asset.
Thank you both. Any other board member? President Singh?
I just wanted to also give a quick shout out to our community liaisons and others. There was a particular incident of a family in distress on Friday, and just the way that they were able to, after hours, put together something for the family. I just really want to appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to appreciate everyone who sent out the emails inviting us to Read Across America. I am sorry I wasn't able to participate, but we always appreciate getting those emails, and I love the Google Docs and being able to just identify the times that were available. So thank you. Keep inviting us, and those of us that are available and can find the time, I'm sure we're participating. So thank you. I also just want to remind folks, I know some of you are standing, we do have an overflow room. We understand this space is not big enough. We don't actually have a boardroom, and so eventually, hopefully, a board will make a decision to allocate funds to that. But until then, we have an overflow room, and if you wish to speak, just let one of us know, or we'll make sure that we allow sufficient time for you to come back. And there are seats available, so if you want to raise your hand if there's an empty seat next to you, those of you that are standing who would like to sit, please have a seat. If you like to stand, by all means, just know there are options. And with that, we move on to comments from the public. This agenda item is for any member of the public wishing to speak on any item not currently on the agenda. We've allocated a total of 20 minutes for this item so that we can ensure that we orderly conduct business during our meeting today and hopefully adjourn at a decent hour. As a reminder, your comments during this item are not agendized, so the board cannot respond or engage in discussion. How many comments do we currently have?
Vice President Correa, we have 7 comments.
Okay. Do we have any comments by telephone? Okay. Hearing 7, you will have 3 minutes to address the board. Please be respectful of your time, and if we can have 2 callers at a time so that we can orderly conclude our 20 minutes. And please don't read that anything into our attempt to be efficient during this time. We appreciate your comments, and you can always email us or text us as well or reach out to us. We just want to make sure that we provide everyone an opportunity to address us, as well as hopefully leaving at a decent hour. So.
With that, our first comment is from Bernice Bailey, and April Cotton, you're on deck. Time will begin once you start. Make sure you press the button so the light turns green.
Okay. Good evening, President Chan, board members, Superintendent Ketty, Davis, and district staff. My name is Bernice Bailey. I retired 2 years ago this coming June after working 40 years as a classroom teacher, with my last 22 years were at Central as a kindergarten teacher at McKinley. It has recently been brought to my attention that the district is wanting to increase the insurance premiums of teachers and retirees to 5 times the amount that we are currently paying. Everyone tries to live within their means. Can you imagine any one of your bills suddenly increasing by 5 times the amount you are currently paying? I dedicated 22 years of my life to this district that I love with the promise of gap insurance at a rate that teachers pay. Assuming that rate would continue to be a reasonable amount that retirees could afford, $800 plus per month is not reasonable. It is not reasonable for your current employees, and it is not reasonable for your retirees. Remember that for retirees to be eligible for this gap insurance, they must have worked for the district for at least 20 years. Please remember that Central needs to attract and retain highly qualified individuals. Good insurance that is affordable is one of the things that will retain those qualified staff members and make them reach that 20 years plus mark. Retirees are on a fixed income. We no longer get step and column raises. For many, this proposed increase would not be affordable. I urge you to please ask the district to rethink the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next comment is from April Cotton, and on deck is Linda Labendira.
Good evening, President Singh, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Davis. My name is April Cotton, and I am approaching my 13th year here as a resource specialist in Central Unified. But first, I'd like to thank Board Member Chavez for coming to our SPED task force, our last. So prior to my role as an RSP teacher, I worked as an instructional aide in special education, and I also served as a substitute teacher within Central. I am currently the member of a special education task force that represents the elementary level. I come before you today to advocate for the needs of our special education students across all programs within our district. The reason I stand before you is that you, as our district decision makers, have the power to ensure that our students receive the resources and support they need to succeed. This is a crucial issue that the CUDA bargaining team is negotiating, and I want to stress that the supports we are requesting are not for the benefit of the teachers, but for the benefit of the students we serve each day. These supports are essential, ensuring that all students, including those in special education, have equitable access to core instruction in the least restrictive environment possible. Our request for additional support is not to make our jobs easier. It is to give all students, including those with disabilities, the same opportunities to thrive academically as their peers in general education. To achieve this, we need the necessary resources such as additional aid support, smaller class size caps, or other supplemental services tailored to the individual needs of students as documented in their individual education programs. These needs are not generic. They are specific to each student and require individualized attention, which is why why adequate support is essential. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. At the elementary level, our programs span multiple grade levels throughout the day. The special day classes can cover grades K2 and 3-6, all at the same time, while RSP teachers support students from TK through 6th grade. Our functional life skills class also spans various grade levels, and our speech and language pathologists manage caseloads across multiple grades as well as different programs, often facing overwhelming demands. Instruction in these settings must be customized to meet the unique needs of each student as outlined in their IEPs, which can be a daunting task without sufficient support. Beyond the academic demands, there are additional challenges that make our work even more complex. Coordinating schedules around up to 8 lunch periods, 8 PE schedules, 4 recess periods, and other activities like band, art, music, and all of which our students need access to. It is no small feat. These logistical issues, combined with unpredictable factors like student behavior, staff absences, and unforeseen circumstances, can significantly disrupt the learning environment. In light of these challenges, I ask for the support in providing the resources that our special education students need to succeed. They deserve the same opportunities as their peers in general education, and with the proper tools and support, we can ensure that all students have a fair chance to thrive. Please remember that when items related to special education appear on the board agenda, it is because our students need them, and they will make a significant positive impact on student learning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Cotton. Our next speaker is Linda Labandera, and Katie Gibble, you're on deck.
Hi, good evening, Central Community. Board members, Ketty, Ms. Boatwright, people I see that are familiar, and new faces, new board members. I'm Linda Labandera. I teach over at Steinbeck. This is my 33rd year teaching, 31 in Central Unified. What a great community to grow up in, and with such wonderful people who care all about education, our children, all over. So we're very blessed to be in this community. I'm here to share that you saw all the teachers here. We're wearing red for education. We work stronger together when we're together. On the back, we have all of our schools listed, and we're here for the same cause. One of the causes is helping support the people who are taking care of us and going above and beyond extra meetings. So the Central educators want to share that we're standing with our bargaining team. And there's a big heart with a pencil that says Central Unified Teachers. And we work because our children deserve the best. So there we go. Okay. One of the things I wanted to say, yes, we do back our board. I do have something to share about the health committee. That was one of the committees I served on. I taught sports, started Central Youth Softball. I've done all sorts of things in this district throughout my years because I love children and I love to see them do wonderful, fun things. But one of the committees for education that I served was the health committee. And it's been a very healthy committee, an A+ rating committee. So we are very well respected as a unit throughout the insurance company because we've taken very good care of our plan. So I don't see any reason why our rates should go up at all because I know that we're taking such good care. Our employees are very conscious. We've cut back when we've needed to, and when it's communicated, let's try not to go in just to an emergency to go. Make sure it's a real emergency Otherwise, you're going to have to pay your share of $100. So we had reasons in bargaining, and we had brokers that helped us to get really good rates because we care and because we know how to do it. And I know all of you will know, and you'll look into it and make sure that we keep our rates going well. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next comment is from Katie Gobble. Thank you. First one.
You got it right that time.
Okay,
Thank
sorry.
you. Good evening, everyone. I am here as a retiree. I'm enjoying my very first year after teaching at Teague Elementary for 35 years. And I am here tonight because I was given the information about this possible increase in our insurance rates. As a retiree, the new number is astronomical. As Bernice mentioned earlier, it is 5 times what we are currently paying. If you look at that over the year, it's $8,000 or more. And for me, as a retiree, that's more than 1 month's income. It's not something that we can do. So please take that into consideration. I plan to be around for a while, and I want to enjoy my life, and I want to be able to afford to enjoy my life. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Our next comment is from Michael Pratt. And on deck is Kelia Suter. Apologize for mispronouncing. You'll have 3 minutes.
All right. Good evening, board members and central leadership. My name is Mike Pratt. I'm a business agent with the Teamsters Union, as well as I'm a trustee with the building trades here in Fresno, California. So it's nice to see several of you board members, which I met at the building trades while seeking support from the unions during your campaigns. I'm a community member, a father of kids that attend Central Unified. Teamsters represents many of Central's viable deliveries and services, such as the school's food deliveries, bread deliveries, linen, floor mats, towels, uniforms, restroom supplies, garbage pickups, as well as package and freight deliveries made every day at this district. I come here tonight in support of the teachers and hardworking people, which make Central one of the best school districts in the Valley. I ask the district to reconsider its approach on this year's negotiations and encourage the trustees to pressure the district's negotiating team to start bargaining in good faith and give these teachers reasonable wage increases without the cost of giving up their negotiated benefits. If requested, the Teamsters will do everything in its power to sanction and support these teachers. Teamsters stands with CUDA and Central teachers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mike. Yes, sorry, Kayla. Thank you, Kayla, and you'll have 3 minutes.
All right, thank you. So I'm Kayla Suda. I'm a speech language pathologist at Roosevelt Elementary, and I also do bilingual assessments for the school district. I have been with the district for 7 years. Thank you for having me, board members, Mrs. Davis. And I also wanted to thank Natalie Chavez for coming to our last task force meeting. It was, I hope, very eye-opening. It was, I feel, successful to voice our opinions and all of our concerns to a board member present. So I do encourage any other board members to please join us at any other of our task force meetings. I am here because I'm standing with CUDA and our negotiation team. I am part of the negotiation team, more on the side to represent the SLPs. And I would like to, for the board and for the negotiating side of the district, to really consider the SPED caps that have been provided. Us as SLPs, we do carry high numbers, probably the highest numbers of the SPED family. And with that, that just means that's how many kids we're providing services to. And when we're spread thin, we want to provide the most that we can to our students, but it's hard to do so when you're spread thin and you're drowning with paperwork or IEP meetings. And I feel like we do more paperwork than treatment, unfortunately. And so I would like that to be in consideration. Also, as others mentioned about our health insurance, that is really big for us to maintain an affordable health insurance. I know nearby districts have very affordable health care as well, and that is something that can deter future applicants or deter people from staying with our district as well. So I'd like that to be something to keep in mind as well. And I stand with our teachers, not just SPED, all of our teachers. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kayla. Our final comment is from Michael Seeley. And you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, board members, President Singh, Superintendent Davis, Michael Seeley, Policy Director for Fresno City Council Member Nelson Esparza. I wanted to take a moment to update this board on some things happening at City Hall, but first, as a private citizen, I'd like to express my solidarity with your Central Unified educators in ensuring they have the resources they need to support our students and take home a living wage and benefits that reflect the incredible work they do in our community. First, on the city note, I want to thank Central Unified for showing your support for Councilmember Esparza's Smoke Shop Text Amendment. This ordinance will create safer and healthier neighborhoods throughout Fresno by limiting smoke shops to 7 per council district. Additionally, this ordinance will ensure smoke shops do not operate near sensitive uses such as schools, parks, and daycares. I would like to invite this board and the public to the City Council meeting on Thursday, March 13th to share how smoke shops have impacted your community. Together, we are making Fresno's neighborhoods healthier by going after bad actors and limiting widespread availability of tobacco, nicotine, and vaping products. Secondly, Councilmember Esparza announced at the February 27th council meeting that we are organizing the School Liaison Subcommittee. He appointed District 6 Councilmember Nick Richardson to the subcommittee and announced his intention to fill the other council appointment with whoever fills the District 5 vacancy on council. I will be in touch with your leadership to coordinate meetings for this subcommittee, likely before the end of spring. As always, I extend an invitation to each of you to chat about your priorities that you have in Central Unified. Even though District 7 does not include portions of Central Unified, I believe policymaking is a team effort and welcome your input. If there is anything our office can do to support your work, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you very much.
Trustee Carrillo, that's all the comments I have.
Okay, so that will conclude our in-person public comment. I understand we have one caller.
Good evening, Kathy. You have 3 minutes to address the board. Please make sure to turn down the volume on your listening device so we can hear you loud and clear. Again, you have 3 minutes and your time starts now.
Thank you. Good evening, all Board of Trustees, administration, and fellow teachers. My name is Kathy Olson. I'm a retiree from Central Unified School District after 35 years of working. I retired from Sorayan Elementary School. I'm calling on behalf of myself and my fellow teachers at Central and our negotiating committee. I understand the board is proposing an enormous increase for teachers to pay for their already negotiated health benefits. When I retired, I was provided under contract the option of continuing to pay for health benefits until the age of 65. This proposal is suggesting a tremendous increase of more than 4 times the amount we are now paying. This is completely devastating to those of us who rely on affordable medical insurance and are now on a fixed income. The impact would be incredibly difficult for all of us that planned our retirement based on the original amounts that we have agreed upon. I'm asking the board to please respect the original agreement that was implemented at the time that we retired. Please keep the reputation of Central Unified School District that we were all so proud to work for and be a part of. Please take care of the teachers who have worked and still do work so hard to make Central Unified the unique district that it is today. Please keep our insurance affordable. Thank you.
And that'll conclude our public comment session for today. And with that, we move on to the remainder of our agenda. As a reminder, we will take any presentations on the item, and then we will take public comment, and then we will have board discussion and action where appropriate. The next item is our consent agenda. What are the wishes of the board? Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Thank you. I have a motion by President Singh, and I have a second by Trustee Sellers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0 with Trustee Kerfan absent. We move on to our action items. Our first item is student discipline. Case number 2425016. What are the wishes of the board on this item? I'll make a motion to modify the recommendation to require participation in the Opportunity Classroom program. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. I made a motion to amend the recommendation, to modify the recommendation to require participation in the Opportunity Classroom program. I have a second by Trustee Kirk. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Point of clarification, Trustee Carrillo. This is in lieu of expulsion, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I still second support.
Okay. Any opposed? And any abstentions? With that, motion carries. I think I heard Trustee Sidhu before he stepped out. We move on to item 2, adopt resolution number 2425-38, authorizing the execution, delivery, and sale of 2025 certificates of participation. Assistant Superintendent Ekbal.
Good evening. This is a returning item regarding taking a loan to complete the WAPA building at Justin Garza High School. Administration is recommending the board approve and adopt a resolution.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public? Hearing none, are there any comments or questions from the board? Okay. What are the wishes of the board on this item?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Kerfan to approve this item. Is there a second? Okay. I have a second by Trustee Kirk. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0 with Trustee Sidhu absent. We move on to item 3, accept gifts to the district. Assistant Superintendent Ekbal.
Hello again. Central High School received 3 donations. The first one is Ohio Pile Prints, donated $16.87 to ASB. The second is Jeremy Mailing Farm Services, donated trellis system valued at $20,000, and the third one is Robin Cardwell, donated $115 to 2027 sophomore class. Administration is recommending the board accept gifts to the district.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Hearing none. Any comments or questions from the board? Before there's any other comments, I do just want to give a shout out and thank Jeremy Mailing is a former trustee. Of course, we thank our other donations as well, but thank you, former Trustee Mailing, for continuing to provide service to our community. Trustee Kerfan?
Thank you, Trustee Carrillo. I, too, just want to echo thank you especially to former Trustee Mailing. Thank you for continuing to support, Central Unified and our ag programs, and appreciate your very generous donation this time. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, is there a motion to accept the gifts to the district?
I move to accept the gifts.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Kirk, and I have a second by Trustee Kerfan to accept the gifts to the district. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0 with Trustee Sidhu absent. Item 4 is approve the 2024-2025 second interim budget report. Assistant Superintendent Ekbal.
Okay, we have Maricela Odenis, Director of Fiscal Services, going to present the second interim.
Good evening, Board President Singh, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Davis. My name is Maricela Ordóñez, and I am here today to present a summary of the 24-25 second interim budget report. This report is based on a series of assumptions with conservative estimates for both revenues and expenditures. Part of the budgeting process includes projecting the budget with a series of assumptions that are determined and inserted into state and district formulas. School district budgets are not static documents and must be revised as often as necessary in order to respond to the changing politics at the state and federal level, as well as to the changing goals and needs of the district. Factors such as updated state funding levels, shifts in student enrollment, changes in employee salaries and benefits, and unexpected expenses can all impact the budget. Regular revisions allow the district to adjust spending plans, allocate resources effectively, and ensure the district meets its financial obligations throughout the year. This proactive approach helps maintain fiscal stability and support students' programs and services. The budget assumptions are updated with a revision 45 days after the adoption of the state budget, which is reflected in our annual budget report, and with 2 interim reports. Today, we are presenting the second interim report, which is for the period of July 1st through January 31st. A series of multi-year projections are developed over a 3-year period as part of the budgeting process. These projections are assigned one of 3 types of certification: positive, qualified, or negative. For this second interim reporting period, Central Unified is assigned a positive certification, indicating that based upon current projections, the district will meet its financial obligations for the current and 2 subsequent fiscal years. In summary, we are projecting the following for the 24-25 second interim report: an enrollment of 16,082, an average daily attendance, commonly referred to as ADA, of 90.67%, an unduplicated pupil percentage of 81.79%, and we have updated the cost of living adjustment, commonly referred to as COLA, to reflect the state adopted budget of 1.07%. Next is a summary of the district's unrestricted general fund balance. We have a beginning fund balance of $49.3 million as of July 1st, 2024. Revenues totaling $232.7 million from state, local, and LCFF funds, a $15 million transfer back to the general fund, contributions of $32.9 million to special ed, transportation, and the restricted maintenance accounts, expenditures of $224.4 million, bringing our ending fund balance to $49.2 million. These $49.2 million is allocated as follows. $26.4 is assigned to the board-approved projects for the school startups cost for the and pardon me if I'm not pronouncing this correctly, the Jaswant Singh Kalra Elementary School, programs, personnel, and facilities for the Central High School, the loan for the VAPA billing, and ongoing VAPA-related expenditures. $6 million for the futsal fields, and the remaining $16.8 million is the amount reserved for economic uncertainties. This reserve meets the state minimum required of 3%, plus an additional 2% as required by Board Policy 3100. This next slide shows the impact to the general fund for the contributions that are estimated to be made this fiscal year to help offset the cost in both the special ed and transportation departments. Costs that were offset in prior years with supplemental funds such as ESSER. Actual costs incurred in these departments for 24-25 will be reflected when the books close at the end of the fiscal year and reported as part of the unaudited actuals reporting period in late August, early September. This next slide shows a breakdown of the district's $224.4 million unrestricted general fund expenditures. $95.3 million for certificated salaries, $35 million for classified salaries, $56 million for corresponding employee benefits, $8.4 million for books and supplies, $19 million for services and other operating expenditures, $8.1 million for capital outlay, and $2.3 million for other outgo. You will note that approximately 83% of the unrestricted general fund expenditures is attributed to salaries and statutory health benefits. This slide shows 3 of the major federal funding sources the district receives and the percentage of total revenue. 1.19% is received for the special education entitlement. This supplements funding for the costs associated with providing services to students with disabilities. 2.89% from Title I, II, and III, and 0.44% for Every Student Succeeds Act. These combined funds supplement funding for the costs associated with closing the achievement gap and enable the students to meet the state's challenging academic standards. They also provide professional development to teachers and principals, as well as assist with implementing initiatives to recruit, hire, and retain the same. These monies also assist parents and families to become active participants in the education of their children, as well as recruit personnel who are specially trained to provide services to immigrant children and youth. This funding also assists with costs associated with increasing English language proficiency of our EL students. This next slide shows a breakdown of the district's $111.6 million restricted general fund expenditures. These expenditures are required and necessary for the restricted portion of our funds. $22.6 million for certificated salaries, $13.9 million for classified salaries, $22.9 million for corresponding employee benefits, $14.1 million for books and supplies, $24.8 million for services and other operating expenditures, $9.9 million for capital outlay, and $3.2 million for other outgo. Now for the multi-year projections, or MYP assumptions. The following is based on information known at this time. Central Unified is projecting flat enrollment and ADA in the current and 2 subsequent fiscal years. We are also projecting steady unduplicated pupil percentages with only minor variances year to year. The MYPs include the COLA adjustments. The district is anticipating a slight increase in LCFF funding for the 2 subsequent years based on the increase of COLA. The MYPs also include the step and column salary adjustments, as well as increases to the employer contribution for PERS, the retirement system for classified employees. PERS is set to gradually increase from 27.05% this year to 27.4% next year and 27.5% in the 26-27 year. STRS is projected to remain the same through the 26-27 fiscal year. The multi-year projections also include the payments to our long-term certificates of participation obligations. So once again, these multi-year projections are not forecasts nor predictions. They are the mathematical result of today's decision based on a given set of assumptions and are expected to change as the assumptions change. Changes in revenue represent projected changes in enrollment, ADA, unduplicated counts, and projected COLAs. Expenditures have been adjusted to reflect any necessary reductions or increases to maintain the district's goals and the required reserves. These projections are aligned with current law and will be updated as additional information becomes available. The following is a breakdown of the current and the next two subsequent fiscal years. As we've already reviewed our current fiscal year, I'll review the 25-26 and 26-27 multi-year projections for our unrestricted funds. COLA is projected to be at 2.43% for the 25-26 year and at 3.52% for 26-27. The ending fund balance of $34 million for the 25-26 fiscal year includes $17.2 million for the continued projects as described earlier, and $16.8 million will be reserved for economic uncertainties. The ending funding balance of $22 million for the 26-27 fiscal year include $4.7 million for the continued projects described earlier, and $17.2 million will be reserved for economic uncertainties. So to summarize, the second interim budget report is for the period of July 1st through January 31st. Central Unified is projected to meet all of its financial obligations with support of one-time federal and state funds. ADA continues to be volatile. The costs for both special ed and transportation services continue to increase each year, thus increasing the contribution from the unrestricted to restricted resources. A reminder, the budget reports and corresponding interim reports, such as this one, are not static documents. They are revised as often as necessary to respond to the changing needs and goals of the district. Cash flow will continue to be monitored to ensure the district continues to meet its mission, vision, and beliefs of excellence and high expectations, equity and access, collaboration, and community. At this time, administration is requesting the board approve the 2024-2025 second interim report as presented, and I'm happy to address any questions you may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Sellers?
All right, thank you. It's on slide 6 that's discussing general fund contributions to special education and transportation. Just wondering if you can provide a little bit more information into what's driving the cost of special education so much. Those seem like pretty significant increases over the last couple years.
So this slide shows the contribution from the general fund to the special ed. For the last years, not this year, but the last years, those contributions weren't as high as what's predicted for this year because they were supplemented by our ESSER funds. As far as what's driving the costs, I think there's a variety of things. What other irregular expenditures increase, so do expenditures for these. I don't have exactly specific details, but I can get that for you, and we could have more accurate once we actually close the books for this fiscal year. That will show the actual costs.
Okay.
So just to restate, this is what's allocated, the 23 as of now, not spent yet. But last year we did have $5 million in ESSER fund in addition to the $17 million that's not in that report. So this is just for
the general fund.
The general fund contributions.
Okay. So
we're not using ESSER this year.
The overall operational cost is roughly the same. It's just different funding streams.
Yes, we did open additional classrooms this year based on staffing needs because of enrollment.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
And Superintendent Davis has some additional comments to your question.
And I appreciate you saying you'll bring back more detail to it, but a couple of significant things that have been done, as was mentioned, we have a few more classes that have opened. We have seen an increase, and it's been a trend not only in our district of one-to-one support for students. We have great medical advancements, and so we have a lot more students able to be fully included in classrooms, but they often require medical support throughout the day. And then a few years ago, we did enter into an agreement to take our instructional aides, many of whom are in special education classrooms or settings, from part-time to full-time, as a means to try to help reduce the amount of vacancies, and that was a significant commitment, as well as you approved, and I'm not sure where these fall, so which of the two boxes, but an increase in transportation buses for our specified door-to-door routes, which we have. So those are a few of the key ones that have spiked our costs.
Any other questions? So for clarification, the transportation cost in this, on this slide, that's just for special ed? Or is that all transportation cost for our district?
That's all transportation costs for our district.
So an increase could also be attributed to the transportation cost with additional, the cost of gas, the value of the dollar, and then we have additional bus routes that we added, right, that are being considered as part of this component.
Correct.
Do we have, and I didn't ask this in advance, so I apologize. We get some reimbursement for transportation. Is that accounted for on this slide already, or when do we reconcile for transportation reimbursements?
So for this current fiscal year, this is just what it's estimated that we will be contributing from the general fund. But when we actually close on our actuals, we'll show the actual cost of that. And any add-ons or any reimbursement will be accounted for at that time.
And any of the reimbursement also happens at the end anyway, so we don't know whether we'll actually see any of that money. Okay, thank you. Hearing no other questions or comments from the board, what are the wishes of the board on this item? Do we have a motion to approve the second interim budget report for 24-25?
So moved.
I have a motion by Trustee Sellers. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by President Singh. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you so much. We move on to item 5, adopt board policy 5145.13, response to immigration enforcement, safe learning for all. Assistant Superintendent Dr. Lopez.
Good evening, Board President Singh, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Katie Davis. On January 28th, the board requested information on what training is being provided to staff, administrative regulations, and Central Unified, what are we doing to protect our students and inform families. So we brought forward a presentation to you in the prior board meeting, and also brought forward, per your request, the board policy response to immigration enforcement. The board policy is presented to you for action today with some revisions suggested by our board. It is here for you to review, and administration is recommending we adopt. There is one quick feedback I have, so I wanted to provide that to you. I met with our team, and we identified, so we have administrative regulations that I know you usually don't play a role in, but I felt like there was language that I felt like we can align to this policy. We have response to immigration enforcement, AR. And under this board policy, it states that we provide student, parent, guardian information documentation regarding immigration enforcement. However, we do have scenarios where it could be related to a subpoena that asks for us to keep information confidential. So I just asked for us to add that language in regards to any child abuse case, neglect, or dependency. So as it reads in the AR, it states, we would possibly add this if you agree to this at the end of page 1, the last paragraph, where it states, upon notice and verification that a law enforcement officer or immigration agent or officer has entered a district or property or at the district bus stop seeking to enforce immigration law, the superintendent or their designee shall issue notification to the district employees and parent guardians, and there we would embed, unless such disclosure is prohibited by a subpoena served on the district or in case involving investigations of child abuse, neglect, or dependency. So I would align to that policy.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Hearing none, questions or comments from the board? And just as a reminder to everyone, as Dr. Lopez mentioned, the revisions came from the board, mostly for me, and then I did discuss this with President Singh and Trustee Kirfan. Since I don't, in compliance with the Brown Act, I didn't reach out to anyone else, since I did talk to both of them. And again, this was just to reflect a notice requirement. I'll allow others to speak, but I would respond to that request. I have no problem. I also want to point out that the intent of this language is not to disclose any confidential information or to identify what they're doing, but to ensure that our community is aware of when this is happening to avoid misinformation. I think as an educational institution, we're in the best position to verify whether we have an immigration officer on campus or not. I think from there, we may get questions, and we have to respond in compliance with both state and federal law, which we would not be disclosing specifically identifiable information of any student or our families either. Trustee Kerfan.
Thank you, Vice President Carrillo. I want to thank my fellow board members, Trustee Carrillo and Singh, for co-sponsoring this board policy. Trustee Carrillo, again, thank you for your legal expertise on the language. The Safe Learning for All board policy update is in compliance with federal and state laws. What I noticed in January when there were reports of ICE sweeps and traffic stops in Fresno and the Central Valley was the rapid spread of fear and misinformation, but also the delay in information in traditional news outlets. The effects throughout the week were undocumented residents in Fresno not showing up for work, and some students that should have been in school stayed home because those families were afraid of being detained on their way to school. This policy is potentially the first of its kind, codifying that in the event of immigration agents attempting to enter a Central Unified school or bus stop, the district will send out a rapid response notification to Central Unified families. This will ensure that all families in Central Unified, regardless of immigration or citizenship status, know that the safest place for their children is in the classroom.
Thank you. Anyone else, anyone from the board have any other comments or feedback? Okay. So, Dr. Lopez, so the language you're proposing is specific to disclosing information. So let me make sure I understand. Would that mean that we would not send a notice at all in those circumstances?
No. The language that was added explains that we would send information or notification to parent guardians, and that is my worry if it pertains to the parent guardian of that student and there is a child abuse, neglect.
Got it.
So we have to make sure that any information shared doesn't come back to them identifying who the student might be.
Okay. I have no objection to adding that language. Does anyone from the board have any objection? Okay. And so, go ahead.
No, I said no.
Okay. Can you repeat the language that will be added? And that's, again, just to conform with our existing administrative regulation, which tells our district employees how to enforce and comply with our board policy.
That is correct. So right after, second sentence to the last on the last paragraph, where it says, issue notification to district employees and parent guardians, and then we would add, comma, unless such disclosure is prohibited by a subpoena served on the district or in case involving investigations of child abuse, neglect, and dependency.
Okay. I move to go ahead.
I think the other step that's worth noting is once you make the determination here, they'll go back to the AR and make sure that it matches.
Okay.
So there's language that you're proposing that needs to be in the AR as well.
That's correct.
Okay. I'll move to approve the revised board policy 5145.13 with the revised language presented by Dr. Lopez.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, everyone. We move on to item 6, approve out-of-state travel. Assistant Superintendent Dr. Boatwright.
Thank you. So this request is for out-of-state travel for teacher Tiffany King. Tiffany is the yearbook advisor at Justin Garza High School. We would like to allow her to attend the Jostens Advisor University in Arizona this summer. Administration is recommending that the board approve this travel request.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Any comments or discussion by the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the out-of-state travel?
I move to approve the out-of-state travel.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Kirk. I have a second by Trustee Sellers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We move on to item 6, approve 24-25 roof repair project number 2425-1402 at Central East High School. We have Director Both.
Good evening, Board President Singh, board members, and Superintendent Davis. On January 29th, 2025, the district published an invitation for bids for the roof repairs at Central East High School project. Bids were sought to provide the labor to repair the roofs at Central East High School buildings 1100, 1200, and part of 300. Materials have been purchased directly by the district previously. Bids were open on February 20th, 2025 at 2:01 p.m. The bid summary sheet is attached, and the lowest responsive bidder was Fresno Roofing with a bid of $489,000. Total cost of the roofing project for the labor is $489,000, funded through the deferred maintenance funding line. The deferred maintenance plan was previously approved on October 8th by the board. Happy to answer any questions the board may have at this time.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the public? Comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, what are the wishes of the board on this item?
So move.
Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion by President Singh. I have a second by Trustee Sellers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0 with Trustee Kirk absent. We move on to item 8, approve Central High School athletic uniform and equipment quote. We have Director Hightower.
Thank you. Good evening. Tonight I bring you an item to purchase fall, winter, and spring uniforms and equipment for Central High School for the upcoming season. Central High School will receive new uniforms and equipment for both the junior varsity and varsity programs. The cost of uniforms and equipment is $900,355.95. The equipment and uniforms will be purchased through the BSN Sports using an Omni contract. Administration recommend this item be approved after any questions you may have.
Thank you. Will you all just let me know if we have any comments or questions from the public? Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this contract?
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion by Trustee Kerfan. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Trustee Sellers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 6-0 with Trustee Kirk absent. Thank you. We move on to item 9, and just to flag for the members of the board, items 9 and 12, we made the executive decision as your board leadership, President Singh, myself, and board member Clerk Kerfan, to bring these items immediately into action for a number of reasons. Most of them, we know that the cost will always go up, so if you have any questions, this is the first time you're seeing this item, so please let us know. With that, we have item 9, approved purchase on interactive display panels for Jaswant Singh Kalra Elementary School. We have Director Rodriguez.
Thank you, Vice President, President Singh, and members of the board, and Superintendent Davis. For your approval tonight is a purchase of 75-inch interactive display panels and 55-inch large format displays for Jaswant Singh Kalra. In your attachment is a proposal from CDWG to furnish the displays that reflect a piggyback contract from Irvine Unified School District. When the need arises, and if it's in the best interest of the district, it is often advantageous to utilize piggyback contracts. When items are identical to the district specifications, utilizing piggyback bids that have already been awarded through the competitive bid processes is an efficient mechanism for legally procuring materials, supplies, and services, at the same time preserving district resources such as staff time to prepare the bid documents, drawings, specifications, and legal advertising. Administration is recommending that the board approve the purchase for the displays. And I'll stand by to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Trustee Sellers?
Do we anticipate having these delivered and installed by the upcoming school year?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's another reason for bringing them directly to action. We know there's always delays, so to the extent we can get ahead of it. If there are no other comments or questions, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you. I have a motion by trustee Sellers. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard a second by trustee Chavez. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We move on to item 10, approve repairs and alterations to varsity baseball and softball fields at Central High School. We have Director Both.
Good evening again, board members. The varsity baseball and softball fields at Central High School require some repairs and alterations to ensure they meet the necessary standards for safe and playable conditions for the upcoming school year. AstroTurf has submitted a proposal to complete the necessary repairs and alterations under their CMAS, California Multiple Award Schedule contract number 4-24-02-1013. The project will include improvements to both fields and will address identified issues that and ensure readiness for the next season. The total cost of this project is approximately $369,500 and will be funded by the general fund. Administration is recommending the board approve the repairs and alterations to the varsity and softball field after I answer any questions the board may have.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? What's the life expectancy of this work, and whatever it is, then do we have a schedule, and is this going to be part of like our deferred maintenance so that we're keeping up with it?
Yeah, so this is not, even though it's AstroTurf, it's not actually turf. It's still going to be a natural grass field. Once these fields have the work done like this, we've had the work done on other fields before. Once they're done, our department or our grounds department is able to upkeep them with the equipment that they have and keep them to the same level and elevations and stuff.
Awesome. Okay. Trustee Sellers and then Trustee Kerfan.
Just trying to figure out, what's the reasoning for needing to change the turf?
So there's a few issues on both fields. I'll just highlight some of the major ones. The softball field is not the correct shape. When it's the infield, they're the wrong dimensions. So they need to reshape the I don't know the word, so sorry, but the outfield to the infield, because there's no, so they got to redo that, add some drainage, and just redo some of the baselines and dimensions, really.
Okay.
And on the baseball field, I believe it's the third base area, there is a dip. And then, so because of that dip, and to fix it, to bring it up so we don't have puddling, the whole infield then needs to get shaped, because home base is kind of like our center, like that's where we base all the measurements off of and all of our elevations off of. So if we do that, we need to fix everything on the inside.
Okay. Are there any other irrigation issues or?
They'll bring everything up to grade once they go through there. So that's part of it also, is they'll bring up the irrigation and make sure it's up to the level of wherever they may, add in fines and stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Kerfan.
Thank you, Vice President Carrillo. Just to clarify, what will be the life expectancy of these fields?
So so since it's natural grass, there is really, I don't want to say there's like a life expectancy. We've, just because it's grass. So maybe how long do we expect? I feel, I don't know how to answer that question, sorry.
So let me interject, because that's my fault. Yeah, I knew, and I read this contract, and I remember that we're essentially redoing those fields, and probably because we haven't actually used them, and I'm going to be sarcastic, in over 100 years. I know it's been less, and so I think the better question I should have asked is, this work then, which you explained, gets us up to code and to a condition in which we will maintain the grounds. And so do we anticipate, unless anything significant happens, that we will need to do a major, I don't know, renovation of these fields again to this value?
No, the answer is we with the condition of the fields, that baseball field was a JV field for a long time, so we did do a lot of work on it, but just not to the level of a varsity field. When we noticed that there was a low spot, checking the measurements, we realized the measurements were off, and that caused more issues, and that's why we just had to do more there. But once we all get it, we get it done and the field's done, our staff have the ability and capability to keep it at that level going forward, until we change it to turf. Also, that's probably the best way to put it.
Okay.
And so the questions we still have then are what the irrigation is going to look like?
So the irrigation was redone on the softball field at a previous project, and I can get that information to you. And the baseball field doesn't need. I can provide you if there's any work done or needed. I can provide that.
Thank you. I just want to make sure that we are creating quality fields for our players at Central High. No further questions.
Hearing nothing further, is there a motion to approve? I'll move to approve the repairs and alterations to the varsity baseball and softball fields at Central High School. Is there a second?
Second.
I heard a second by Trustee Kerfan. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We move on to item 11, approve replacing kindergarten play structure at Steinbach Elementary. Director Both.
Good evening again. So the current playground structure at Steinbach Elementary in the kindergarten area is approximately 30 years old. It has reached its end of serviceable life, and replacement parts are no longer available. Since the parts are no longer available, we have a posing potential safety risk and limiting functionality of the play area. Actually, it's currently closed down because we are not able to get the parts. Additionally, the current structure is not designed to meet the developmental needs for our transitional kindergarten students. We are recommending replacing this structure with a TK-appropriate playground so it will enhance the learning environment and promote physical activity for our youngest learners, aligning with the district's commitment to early childhood education. The new structure will be similar to the preschool structures recently installed at other districts, ensuring consistency and safety. The new structures will be designed to promote the age-appropriate physical development. And Kaya has provided a proposal to remove the existing structure using their CMAS, the California Multiple Award Schedule contract, 4-20-78-0089C. The estimated cost of this project is approximately $245,692.37. This will be funded through the general fund, and administration is recommending the board approve replacing this kindergarten play structure at Steinbach Elementary after I answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions or comments from the board? And again, this item is coming to you as action for the first time because there are kids that don't have a playground to play in. Hearing no comments or questions, I'll move to approve. I have a second by Trustee Sellers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. And then we move to our final action item, approve board members to participate on committee to honor alumni, President Singh.
Good evening, board members. So I want to say about a year ago, we had, in some ways to increase engagement with our community, we had started this sort of honoring an alumni. They were an annual system. Our idea wasn't necessarily to have like a competitive process, but really something just more regular in honoring our distinguished alumni, especially those that have graduated either at this point Central High, Central East, and soon to be Garza, and have made contributions to our community. Last time, or rather previously, it was under the focus of our previous PIO. I don't know if we ever really made that sort of transition, and so with the new board, I'd like to continue serving on it, but very open to see if there's anyone else that would like to serve on this board as well.
Trustee Kerfan?
Thank you, Vice President Carrillo. I have a strong interest in serving on this committee, so I'd like to be part of the selection of honoring our distinguished alumni from all across our district.
Trustee Singh, President Singh, can you remind us, is this a standing committee or is this a committee under the superintendent's authority?
This is a committee under the superintendent's authority.
Okay.
Yes, and then it's run or facilitated by our public information officer.
Okay, so the maximum participation would be 3 board members, and I think what we did last year, if there is significant interest by the board, was we had a rotating 3rd member because the previous board had a lot of interest to serve on the board, on the committee.
And 2 of the 3 trustees are no longer on this board.
Correct. Is there anyone else that's interested?
Question. Would the events or meetings be held outside of like normal business hours, or would it be during business hours?
I can share at least what was previously done. So under the previous PIO, again, under the authority of the superintendent, Meetings generally tended to be in the evening. They tended to be short. They tended to be via Zoom. And just, I mean, those are sort of the general constraints.
I'll be willing as a rotating member.
Okay, so are we interested in having a third board member serve on a rotating basis? Is anyone else interested? If not, I mean, if there's no objection, we can just appoint the three of you. Okay, I'm gonna take your silence and your nodding as confirmation. Okay, so I'll move to appoint President Singh, Trustee Kirfan, and Trustee Sidhu to the Superintendent and PIO's committee that honors alumni. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. I have a second by Trustee Sellers. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. We move on to our...
Sorry, just a note to the public, please, the form is on the website, and even for our board members, please send submissions for those either in memoriam or those that are doing great things in our district.
Thank you, President Singh. We move on to our information items. Our first item is receive information regarding the E-rate network elections. Director Martinez.
Yes, good evening, President Singh, members of the board, and Superintendent Davis, who just walked out. This item is for RFP 0204-25C1. This RFP is to provide services for our network systems throughout the district, maintenance services, support services, and management services. The RFP is currently open and will close March 12th. At that time, we will review the RFP, the bids, compare them and award them to the E-rate approved matrix where cost is the heaviest weighted factor. We are estimating total project costs up to $1 million with E-rate funding 80% of the project and the district funding 20% of the remaining costs. Administration is recommending this item be placed on the next board agenda for action, at which time we will provide an accurate project cost. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Any questions or comments from the board? Trustee Sellers?
Sorry. Is there a financial cap that E-rate will contribute up to?
For this project, no. So we're estimating $1 million, so we would, if we went over that, for example, they would still cover 80%. Okay. But we are estimating $1 million being the cap for the project.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, this item will return to our next board meeting as action on March 25th, 2025. Thank you. Item number 2, receive information regarding E-rate internet hotspot services. Director Martinez.
Good evening again. This RFP is 0204-25A.6, and this is for our student hotspots and internet services that support our school-to-home technology assistance program. The school-to-home program provides a device with internet access for students who are unable to access a device or internet at home. This RFP actually closed just recently, but we're still assessing the bids, and we'll compare them and award them to the E-rate approved matrix, where again the cost is the heaviest weighted factor. Now, we do not have a projected total cost of the project. However, what we do know is the district is funding this program that we have at 100% right now through district funds. Moving forward with this, we will receive at minimum $1.5 million of E-rate funding over the next 3 years for this program. Administration is recommending this item be placed on the next board agenda for action, at which time, again, we will provide an accurate cost with the discount pricing from E-rate, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Director Martinez, can you remind me and share for our new board members, this was an action that was taken by the board to proactively allocate additional funding to ensure during the pandemic that all of our students had access, and even after when they returned, that those areas that we know don't have reliable internet continue to have access.
Yeah, correct. This has been a long time supported program supported by the board. Okay. For this, getting students internet access and devices at home.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, this item will return under action at our next board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
We move on to item 3, receive information regarding teaching fellow spring session quote, Dr. Lopez.
Good evening again. The quote being presented to you this evening is for staffing support in order to run the Spring Break Expanded Learning Program. This quote includes salary costs for high school students. We're very excited that are in the teaching pathway, and they're going to get to apply what they've been learning with their little ones. So teaching fellows will be paying for their support of our students during the spring program through this contract. Also, we are looking at staffing to ensure safety of our students while they're being transported to the camps and in the morning sessions. But please also note that we have a not to exceed contract because currently 50 of those positions we are seeking to hire paraprofessionals in our district to fill. However, we need to be prepared. So in the event that we do not hire the full 50, we need to be ready to be able to provide staffing for the spring programs. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions or comments from the board? Any objection to having this return under consent? Okay, and then just as a reminder, anything that returns under consent, if you do have additional questions, just let President Singh know and we can pull it. Next item is item 4, receive information on Justin Garza High School Athletic Complex increment number 2, project change orders for bid packages JG02, 03, 07, and 08. Director Rodriguez.
Thank you, Vice President, President Singh, and members of the board, Superintendent Davis. For your information tonight are change orders for the multi-prime packages 2, 3, 7, and 8. And the attachments of the itemized summary for the athletic complex increment number 2 for your review. The increase to this project is due to impacts implemented after this project was originally bid. And staff has reviewed and recommends that this item return to the board on March 25th, 2025 board agenda for action. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on these items.
Any comments or questions from the board? Any objection to having this return under consent? Okay, this will return under consent. We move on to item 5, receive information regarding bid schedule and award for Justin Garza High School Athletic Complex Increment 3. Director Rodriguez.
Thank you again. Tonight, you're receiving information regarding the athletic complex increment number 3 project bid schedule and award timeline. The increment 3 athletic project will consist of the basin infill currently at Grantland and the bus alley. The basin infill connecting our storm drain runoff from our property to a flood control basin on the Granville Homes property. Concession stands, futsal courts, toilet rooms, ticket booth, miscellaneous bleacher seating, sports lighting, and perimeter fencing. The project began to advertise on February 10th, 2025, and again on February 17th, 2025, and we anticipate opening the sealed bids on March the 19th of 2025. Administration recommends that this item return on March 25th, 2025, for board to award the lowest apparent responsive bidders for this project. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on this item.
Any questions or comments from the board? Director Rodriguez, so this increment 3 will include the futsal?
It is, yes.
Okay, I thought that was already part of increment 2.
No, this is, it's standalone.
Okay.
So this one had the futsal courts, the championship futsal court, the concessions, the restrooms that will serve the championship soccer field and the futsal courts, the ticket booth, and I want to say, yeah, and the basin infill.
Do you have a very rough estimate of what you think? Because we allocated $6 million to the futsal. So is that going to be enough?
Well, because of the unstable markets right now and the price of steel and certain things that are going on in our economy right now, we've been kind of calculating it for the last few weeks, and we're estimating to be around $8 million currently right now.
Just for the futsal?
For the whole project.
For the whole okay. Okay, so we should be fine, at least with the allocation we've made as a board.
Yes.
Okay. So let's have this return under action, since we will have we'll be awarding it to the lowest bidder. We move on to item 6, receive information regarding change orders for bid package JG 0911 12 13, Justin Garza High School Aquatics Complex Project. Director Rodriguez.
Thank you again, Vice President. This is a change orders for the multi-prime packages 9, 11, 12, and 13, and the attachment that are itemized summary for the Justin Garza Aquatics project for your review. One thing I would like to note is that this is probably the last of them.
Do you promise?
Yeah, I promise. So, staff, we've gone over this. These are a little late. Staff has reviewed and recommends that these items return to the board on March 25th, 2025, board agenda for action. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on these items.
Questions or comments from the board? And so where are we with the percentage of change orders in the overall?
For the total project is a little over 4.15%, so 4%. Our statute per public contract code is 10.
Okay. Any objection to having this item return under consent? Okay, this item will return under consent. And our final information item for tonight's meeting, receive information regarding change orders for bid package SB 08, Jaswant Singh Kalra Elementary School. Director Rodriguez.
Thank you again, Vice President. For your information tonight is a change order for the multi-prime package number 8, which is the electrical package, and the attachment itemized summary for Jaswant Singh Kalra Elementary School. The increase to the project is due to the impacts implemented after this project was originally bid. One thing I would like to note, the district, as the developer of this project, is responsible to mitigate or resolve any type of conflicts or conditions that have negative impacts on either, the utility companies that own the transmission lines, data lines, and our neighbors close by. So we have reviewed this change order, and staff has reviewed and recommends that this item return to the board on March 25th, 2025. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on this item.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? So is this change order as a result of our responsibilities to ensure that our neighbors and others impacted by our project?
So in the drawings, the neighbors were covered. The thing of it was the PG&E was also part of that. They were in the drawings. The Comcast and Verizon were not.
Okay. Any objection to having this return under consent? This will return under consent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That'll conclude our information items. Advanced planning, the calendar is attached. Any additional information and closing comments? So this is an opportunity, if there's any request for information or future agenda items, for the board members to raise them now. Hearing none, we move on. Our next board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, March 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m. for closed session and 7 p.m. as soon as thereafter, and no earlier than 7 p.m. Here in this district room, we now adjourn back to closed session. Thank you.